the world's smallest defibrillator and the world's first neuropacemaker for epilepsy. Welcome, sir.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon. There are definitely quite many people that I work with whose experience has helped me to be where I am. Still beginner, I would say, but definitely some experience with me. One example that I can worthwhile mention right now is a person called Miriam in San Francisco, where around 2007, he has founded around 16, 17 startups. And every startup that he has founded is pretty much a success, except two or three. Every one of his startups either went public or acquired by one of the big companies. Big companies like Medtronic, their number one companies, medical field. Most of his startups were in healthcare. So he's one guy that when he comes to the discussion, he thinks quite a bit and then comes with some brilliant solutions that are there. So these are the people that I work with, and there are a lot of people that I interact here with who are also quite experienced. Basically, it reaches me every day. And here we are going to talk about specifically is, let's say you have some seed fund, some basic level of funding that you have, and you set out to basically create a startup, right? And so oftentimes people come from lot of experience in the industry and all that. You work for big companies and all that. But when you come to this startup, one of the things that first thing that you will be faced to is actually you have to scale down your thought process. You might say, okay, I'm going to represent down there. Okay, so you would say, okay, let me create a big business plan. Before 2000, people were writing a lot of big business plans, and you plan out your 3 years, 4 years, and all that. But the industry has become quite, what you say, uncertain. Things change quite often. Technology is rapidly changing, and you don't know what is going to happen in a year or 2 years from now. So that's basically the scenario. And any plan that you make may or may not, by the time you finish, part of your plan, you find that things are already changing and all that. So that is where basically you don't set out to create. Let's say you are creating an e-commerce, portal or something. You don't say that my total available market is $100 billion, so I'm going to build for 100 million customers. I need to have so many sites, redundant sites, and a lot of these things you don't have to do it in a kind of startup. Basically, you kind of scale down your thought process, but you basically you always think big, but at the same time you have to know how to build a lean startup. So this basically talk is about how do you build a lean startup? How do you analyze? If you are going to analyze the entire process, 5 years of your project, and then decide what to do, and then you act on it, you may find problems. Typically, your business plan, moment you see your first set of customers that are coming, whatever you thought you expected is going to change. So what we are saying is, it's not always everything is known in a business world. Sometimes we have a lot of uncertainties. That is what we are going to talk about. And people have, like Russell Echo has said that it's like a ritual rain dance, and it depends on the weather and all that. So nevertheless, while all these things are basically talking about an uncertain world, essentially. So in an uncertain world, you would actually take lesser risk. You don't put all your money into building a big software, like I said, a software that will take 100 million hits and it is everywhere in the world. You have basically data centers everywhere in the world. You don't go all out, but you identify those areas that you know very well that is going to work, and the areas that are uncertain. Maybe your business model you need to really know. You need to really test it in the market. So what we are saying is here is lot of the time, the 95% work is trying to figure out what works in the market, or maybe with your product itself. Your product may be doing something very first of its kind. So the product itself, there are uncertainties. So the uncertainties could be coming from the product, or the market, or the customer segregation that you are talking about, and your business model. There could be many things. Or it is a new kind of service that you are offering, where you don't know whether there are interested customers and all. So there are two approaches that you can take. One is like launching a rocket, or driving a car. That's basically we are saying two examples, just to synonymous examples that we are taking. Launching a rocket, when you are launching a rocket, you need to know really how much fuel needs to be there by the time Chandrayaan goes and lands on moon. So you need to really calculate all of the things, and you need to calculate the trajectories. When basically the spaceship goes to a specific place, where is the celestial object is going to be, whether the sun or the moon, they are also moving around. So it's really like a business plan where you basically put everything together and then do it. Whereas driving car, let's say you have to go to maybe Gajuwak, a specific place, so you set out in a specific direction, go in that direction, and as you go around and you see that there is a roadblock, you take a turn and then keep going. So that is another approach. That means the first approach we are deciding everything together, and the second approach you are going and figuring out as you go along. So that's what we are talking about. And of course you need to know, certain times, the lean startup may not be the right mechanism for you. Let's say you are creating a pacemaker, talk about the pacemaker example. You are building a pacemaker, you don't say that, I'm going to figure out as I go along the project. You are going to place the pacemaker in the body, basically do a surgery. You can't afford to do surgery on the poor guy in a separate time. So you need to be very careful in certain aspects. So so that is where the startup could apply some cases. Some cases it may not may not be applicable. When it is not applicable, that's okay. You will figure out your own way of doing things. But a lot of the startups that we're talking about, service-based on e-commerce, a lot of the software these days are basically some kind of digital marketplace. These are all things where a lot of uncertainties are there. Let's say you're building a portal for campers. So you don't know what works with the campers and what may not work with the campers. So that is when you need to approach the uncertainty with a lean startup approach. What we are saying there is basically innovation is invention into commercialization. It's not just that your product is nice and cool and all that. It needs to be, end of the day, business goal is you need to revenue, you need to commercialize, you need to monetize it, right? So, so that is when we say it is a good invention. A good invention is one that basically gets commercialized. So the lean startup approach essentially goes an iterative fashion where you basically build something, measure its performance, build something small, not really massive, but something that you can quickly release into the market, and then learn how it performs. Measure the performance, and then based on that you do an iterative way. So that is basically what we're talking. So you build it, then you launch the minimal product. So that is where the concept minimal viable product. You release a product that doesn't have to have all the features that you actually envisage and foresee, and you told your investors that these are the things that you told. But you launch and identify a minimal viable product, launch it into the market, evaluate out how it performs, and then adapt, then make changes. Let's say if you found whatever that technique that you are using is not good, then you adapt it, change it, try something new. So the test and learn approach works best in conditions of rapid change, and we know the business world is quite uncertain these days. There are so many, before you know it, there are, a number of competitors that are coming, one is better than the other and all that. So the way you do is you are not forgetting your ultimate goal. You are always thinking big, and you are looking for those patterns that will build upon to scale up your start. So the moment you see such a pattern, that is when you basically take it up, right? But until then, you do large, small experiments, build a prototype very rapidly. Don't spend a lot of time and all that. Of course, there are other techniques that we look at it as we go in further slides. And you need to be, fail fast and learn fast. You need to be willing to fail. Failure is okay, not a problem. So as you fail fast, you know a number of ways that it doesn't work. So the sooner you tick off the ways that won't work, you are actually reaching your target faster. So tolerate the failures, learn from your mistakes, and then so for example, I think Richard Branson, all of you know, he says, how do you walk? You don't learn to walk, you just walk and then you figure out, right? So we start with also that way. Like you said, there are three ways. One is, just do it. Basically, you set out together. There are three ways to approach the startup building activity. One is, just set out and do it. So that may be more like, create canvas. You don't know what you're trying to do, and you set out to do some things that may or may not work. The other is a fully thoroughly thought out plan, which is basically launch like a rocket ship. You calculate everything, you plan everything, and then do it. That's more like a fully designed approach. The other is driving a car. As you go along, you figure out. So you basically don't go either way. You go the middle way. Basically, you try and figure out. You're not completely doing trial and error, but you are basically analyzing as you go, and then figure out a better way to do it. Whatever it could be, a business model. You may start with saying that I would do a B2C model, but then you end up figure out, okay, if I go to a B2B model, I'm better off. My market gains are high. So that's how we look at it. So the important part there is basically validated learning. So whatever you're learning, whatever you're observing, how do you validate? Through specific metrics, measurable metrics that we look at it, and then say, oh, this is the region. Maybe my net promoter score is high, so that means there is more acceptance from customers. These are the things that you have to do from every iteration to iteration. Build, measure, learn, right? So you are building a product very quickly. The way these days, a lot of open source is there. You don't have to build all this code from the scratch. So look at smart ways of doing it. There are smarter tools that are coming. All ChatGPT and AI tools that are there. So we'll look at how ways and mechanisms, how you can build quickly, and then see how it performs in the market or in the trial market that you are looking at, and learn from them. So that's the same cycle that we're talking about. So let's say you say, okay, all the campers are going to, in the winter, you will say in the winter they're all going to, camp towards maybe, the southern part of India, some hypothesis that we create, and then you work around that, create your software, and then that specific experiment that you have set an hypothesis, design an experiment around it, and then send it out to potential customers, and then run the experiment, see the analysis, and here's basically the pivoting that we do basically. First you so once we have an idea, So you don't know whether the right idea works or not. So do I have evidence that it will work? So the first goal is really to gain some evidence that will work. So you may basically look for a specific set of customers. The customers, specific set of customers you are looking for, maybe married couple without children, some kind of your target customer that you are looking at. So in that specific case, basically you build specific product again around it and then test it around that hypothesis and see what happens. Then you created the product design and you do the experiment with that and see what comes in. When you see that no, this particular product is not going to go really well with the married couple without children, then you basically your learning is wrong right there. Basically, your assumption was wrong. So then what do? You basically pivot your pivot from there, and then you create a new experimentation and go from there. Or if you find that yes, definitely couple without children are liking this product, then you preserve the specific framework that you have created and use it as you go. So what this way approach basically helps you gain all the frameworks that will quickly capture your market, right? It could be, I'm here most of my discussions were around basically target customers that we're talking about. It could be anything, it could be a business model that you're trying with. Maybe, you learn that, as you see the customer reviews and all that, you learn that your business model is wrong. You may have to give your hardware free. You may find that your customers are not buying the hardware. They're not reluctant, they are reluctant to buy the hardware. That is when you see my cost of the hardware is very less, so I'm going to give it free, but charge them on a service basis. These are the things that you learn and you learn. So that is, and of course you need to be willing to do prototype, not that you're always building a full-fledged product, but you're building a prototype. Know that you're building a prototype. In some of the startups that we were basically, I was of the mind that, we design everything, the waterfall approach, and then our boss said, hey, we have to scrap up all the software that we written, we'll scrap it up and then write it again, no problem. It's worth doing that way because what you learn, your learning is much more important than, holding on to that little code that you have written, that, that's your own code, that is good and, is solving the problems. It's not like that. So you basically, as a startup, the money that you have is very limited. You don't have a lot of money because you have to raise your revenues in order to be able to raise more money and all that. So you have to use that, not only the money, the resources that you have, the people that you have, frugally you have to use it. That is when you do the experimentation, see where you are basically correct, your prediction is correct or where your prediction is wrong, then you willing to learn faster, do more, stuff. So it's basically, you have the idea, it could be not your product idea, but a small idea within your entire product. You have a specific idea that you want to try, how to, catch your customers, basically, you have to, attract your customers to really make that sale, right? Make that purchase, right? So around that idea that you create, build a prototype, build the product and, release it and test it. So these days you can, a lot of people release, every day they may release it. Some of you may release even much often, I'm not sure, but release it and then measure it. You get actionable data, not just, some rudimentary crude data, but you need to look at what kind of data that you can get. A lot of the, what kind of customers, lot of analysis that you can do. For example, when you are talking about building faster, you use basically automated tools for testing your software, use automated tools. Similarly, for testing, similarly to build your software, use AI, these kind of tools. Also, rapid prototyping tools. Those are the kind of things that we use. And willing to refactor. How many ever times you refactor your code and build the product that will do viable product. And then measure cost. Do all kind of analysis. Let's say you do a funnel analysis. When people are coming to your site, and then someone, not all people that come to your website are obviously not, buying it. Only some of them are buying. So whoever is buying, what are the steps that they are taking? So you need to do an analysis of your funnel, how your funnel is being built. So that's one thing. You also try with different customer patterns, customer behaviors. You need to look at it. As you capture data about this customer, basically what kind of customers are they in a specific age group? Are they specific married, unmarried, teenagers, etc. All these kind of analysis that you do, and based on that where your product offering is performing better. So those kind of specific tests, net promoter score, that is one thing that you can. Those are the things that you do, and then of course that may take a lot more time to discuss that. But this is how you create an iterative pattern at every point of time when you are testing an idea. At the end of the day, you learn that specific idea doesn't work, then you pivot and then create a new idea around which you build your startup and keep learning and keep doing it. Startup is always like that. Like I said, basically uncertainties that we need to look at. Learn faster. The faster you learn, the faster your success will come. Basically. So that's the name of the game, and that's basically the goal.
Thank you, sir. That was very enlightening speech, and I request the floor is open for everyone. Please ask your questions. Thank you, sir.